Right, hello, today's the 10th of February 2010 and I'm with Paul Hammond, who's a management consultant. I'm going to ask Paul a few questions about his career. So how are you, Paul?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Great, thank you. Before we talk about your job, Paul, can you tell me, where did you go to school and did you enjoy your time there?
I had a great time at school. I went to Loughborough Grammar School and I really enjoyed sport, so I was playing rugby all the time, a lot of tours, a lot of activity. It was good.
And was it a success for you, your school life?
Yes.
Did you achieve what you...
I called it a success, although my headmaster at the time called it a pretty good failure.
Alright, so what happened from leaving school to now then? Can you give us your career path?
Well, before I even left school, I was working. So I did work at either restaurants, I was helping my family out with their family business, I was selling over stalls, and so I got quite a lot of business acumen before I even left school, which was fantastic and really helped later on. And then after that I went to university in Cardiff and did an engineering degree. From that I went and travelled. I went out to Australia and worked out there for a year, which was immense. I worked...
What did you do at university?
Mechanical engineering.
Okay, and did you use that when you went travelling then?
I did on the second job. The first job was just a backpacker's job, but the second job I got was putting hospitals up into the Cape in Australia, building them.
Right.
And so I was in charge of all the telecoms and all the backup systems for the electricity plant.
Oh, fantastic.
So I meant travelling around 4x4s, flying everywhere, and all done with the government.
Wow, that's it. And how long did you stay out there then?
It was a year altogether.
Wow,
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so you came back to England then, and what happened from there?
Well, skin, so I had to go and get a real job.
Yeah.
And so effectively, like all these things, you go and get a contract job, and I was actually doing design work and actually designing a new coding device at the time, and we had 8 weeks to design from scratch, launched a product at a show, full electronics, mechanics.
Okay, and so that was a progression, and carry on then from there.
So from there, then I was in a company, and they got bought out by a bigger company, and that opened up a whole career path within inside the company. And I went on to effectively lead sub $100 million business.
Wow.
And grow that business, travel around the world, and really accelerate sales everywhere.
And you are now, what do you do now? Can you tell us how you got to where you are now then?
Yeah, well, effectively from there, I took the opportunity when we went for another sell-out to start helping other companies and go back more into SMEs, because the one downside of being in big corporations is you tend to spend your life in meetings.
Yes.
Or you spend your life jet lagged. And I had young children, and at the time I wanted to spend more time with them. So I took that opportunity, we had a good sell-out, and I started doing careers advice. Sorry, not careers advice, doing consultancy work, business consultancy.
Okay, so tell us now then, can you explain how you got into becoming a management consultant then? Is it just because it suited, can you tell me how you...
It was a choice, it was a lifestyle choice, was one thing, and it was an interest as well, because it meant I had a lot more variety of companies to go and support.
Yeah.
Getting into it is hard work. You've got to go and establish yourself with some businesses, create rapport, get trust, create some proof points that you can do it actually within an SME environment, which is very different to corporate environment.
Yeah.
And while you can use the tools of corporate, you've got to scale them for the SME.
Great, yeah.
And it's a learning curve you've got to go through to do that.
Tell us, what are the best and worst aspects of your job?
The best aspects is definitely the people. Meeting lots of different people who are all entrepreneurial, very spirited, and growing, and that's great fun.
Yes.
The worst aspects of the job is the fact of you're always looking and working for the next job. You're always having to look outside, and while referrals and customers are great, you still have to continuously network to be able to achieve your next leads and next piece of business.
And so do you have a typical day at work then?
Do I have a typical day at work? No. I mean, my day is always involved around going and seeing people, talking to people, and actually looking at how we can achieving those results, so it can be incredibly varied, which is fantastic. There's never 2 days the same.
Yeah, great. Okay, and Tell me, what are the real challenges that you come across, and what are the real satisfactions that you get?
The challenges are people wanting to learn. It's fine if you go into a business and they actually want to change and they want to actually grow, it's fantastic. But the real challenge is when you meet people who don't want to change, because change is scary, people are frightened of change, people get uncomfortable. So that's a real challenge to get through. And what was the other question?
And what are the real satisfactions that you get then?
Satisfactions is easy wins. You walk in there, and I've taken a couple of companies already that were going bankrupt and stopped them going bankrupt.
Yes.
And you've saved people's jobs, you've sorted out the company, and often it's very, very simple things to do that. It's not always the big things that need to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're a management consultant. Would you recommend this to other people?
Yes, with experience. When they've got the right experience under their belt, and they've been out, done a few jobs, and the suggestion around that is make sure you get a good breadth of experience. Go and try lots of different jobs. When you're going up the career ladders, make sure you keep changing the types of job you're doing so that you have the breadth of experience out there.
Okay. Now, if I was a student leaving college and I wanted to become a management consultant, what advice would you give me to get to that career?
It's really around. It's definitely around looking for financial, looking for marketing, looking for sales, looking for management experience, and getting that whole breadth of jobs. So don't narrow yourself into one job.
Yes.
Because otherwise you can only become supportive in that field.
Yeah.
And if you really want to go into open management consultancy, you need to be a jack of all trades when you get in there and have that experience to back it up. Because companies are looking for experience.
Yes.
Because what they don't want to do is have somebody coming in who's never done it before.
Yeah, of course. And so, if you could do it all again, Paul, and you could go back to your school days and start again, would you do anything different second time around if you had any chance?
Yeah, I'd start my own business up 20 years earlier, and I'd do that 10 times over.
But in your school days, then,
in the school days, I'd be out there looking to.
Would you have worked harder at school if you had your time again, or would you try and achieve more?
I'd have balanced far more getting out there, actually starting my own business up at school when I didn't have the overheads, when I didn't have to worry about the mortgage, and I could have ploughed everything back into that business.
Yes.
It's much harder later on when you've got fixed overheads and you've got all that risk. So any advice I'd give to anybody is start when you don't have all those problems and have the support of your parents there.
Yeah, so start early.
Yeah.
Okay, great, that's very good. And so finally, now you've got years of experience and you've been in lots of different jobs, what words of wisdom have you got for students leaving college today or school?
Just enjoy it. It's the most time you're going to have, most freedom you're going to have. Just really enjoy that time. Get into sports clubs, go on tours, just enjoy the time you're there. And there's always going to be a career path outside school.
Yes.
So really just make sure you have fun while you're there.
Okay. All right, Paul, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.